Our next speaker is our first distinguished faculty of the day, Mohamad-Asem Abdul Malak. And he completed his bachelor here in this institution, Beirut Arab University, I'm sorry, in 1983, and has studied further in the University of Texas, Austin, and has been a faculty of AUB since 1990. His research is around management and decision-making, risk and decision-making, I guess. Did I get this right? No. Research interests are primarily in areas of project risks and management, legal aspects. So he has taught in all kinds of departments, civil, engineering, management, graduate, and undergraduate. So without further ado, Mohamad,
okay,
please.
Thank you. You have the pointer? Oh, there was a pointer here. Okay, that's fine. You have a pointer? Okay. I'm going to have to pay him for the pointer as well. Okay. We're being accused that we've paid Mr. Shamas to market project management and contract management.
You need the pictures also.
Huh?
You need the pictures also.
To pay for the picture?
Yasmin Atoui, where is it?
Come here. Okay. Look, this is a very hard, very tough job for me to do today. I'm accustomed to the 150-minute talk, and I was just warned that he wanted to make sure that I'm told already that I only have 15 minutes. So how to bring this down to 10% of the level of energy that I'm accustomed to releasing every time I'm standing here? I'll try my best. I'm not going to try to burden you much with things, but probably my talk will be the only one so far that will touch really well on systems. I was told that we should be able, no matter what the topic is, to try to dwell a bit on how our work relates to systems and data analysis. And the irony is with trying to show you that in the most distant subject, okay, to what people might think where data exists and analysis takes place, yes, in project management and particularly in contract administration, part of that, we work a lot with data and we do that in a systematic way, and I'll try my best to highlight that along the way. Now, before I embark on the system side of things, I would love to share with you a bit of, does this work, Mr. Shampozer? We need this one here. Okay. We need this one here. Okay. Beautiful. I was also told to say a bit about myself and about whether or not I'm happy doing what I'm doing. You will be surprised, honestly, with my particular case that most of you think that I'm a very happy person lecturing about project management, practicing, contracts, disputes, claims, and doing a lot of things that relate to construction. And I truly feel a lot of happiness doing that. But the surprising thing that you don't know, I never had this as a name. I never had this as a goal. Early on in my career, engineering was not anything that I would strive to be connected to. And medicine was my all the excitement was about medicine. And it was truly because of the war that I ended up being in engineering. Now, I do have to pay a lot of respect to my 87-year-old dad, who has actually said civil engineering is your way. I ended up enrolled in my first year in civil engineering midway through the year because I couldn't make it to France to join a medical school. I couldn't cross the street from where I live today to join USG in the first year, the preparatory year for medical school as well. So this is how it happened, and I ended up being in civil engineering. Let me tell you something. With all due respect to all other fields, I have happened to come into encounters with all different fields because we are in construction. And then everybody is involved in construction. We have a beautiful speaker who has done his work in mechanical engineering. Everybody is accusing us to have paid him to say so many good things about what we actually do. And I don't regret it. I love it. I love being a civil engineer. I take a lot of pride in that. And actually, as a civil engineer, it wasn't even my choice to go into project management. That is another depressing side of the story, believe it or not. Wallahi, I swear to God. Okay. At the time, you know, as a son of a public employee in the Ministry of Transport, you could only aim to go to probably a public school or, you know, just try to get a grant or see, you know, you need support to be able to pursue graduate work. At my time, it was the Hariri Foundation that was offering people a lot of opportunities. Fortunately, I was only offered one of two choices. I would either go into geotechnical engineering or I would go into construction. This does not suit geotechnical. Their shoes are wet all the time. In construction, I could isolate myself somewhere. and and ended up truly in the cleanest side of construction. This is where we deal with contracts, we deal with disputes, and then I practice arbitration, mediation, education. So I'm very much on the law side of things, and then in a place that makes me really, really happy. In conclusion, I'm telling you, those folks, many of you, 60, 70, 80% of our graduates will end up doing their training now, internships in construction related, you know, assignments. I promise you, if you ever decide to embark on a career in construction, you're gonna be exceptionally happy, okay? So I hope I sent the right message to those who are concerned with whether or not construction people are happy by coincidence. No, we're happy because of what we do. We're happy because of the difference that we can make doing what we do. And now I would like to start viewing with you what we do as a system. We work as part of a system, and then Mr. Shammas truly gave you a beautiful overview of only one of the sectors that we deal with. Oil and gas is only one of the sectors. We deal with all kinds of infrastructure projects. We deal with building and residential jobs. We deal with airports. We deal with highways, dams, tunnels, you name it. So construction people, they're just all over. I mean, no design is good enough if it is to stay on the shelves. And this is where we play the role of bringing that design to a reality, which is the built facility that we strive to have. This is one beautiful, built facility that I also take pride to have played some role in conceiving the idea for it and in delivering it. Now, that said, this system that I'm referring to has a lot to do with people needing to move in this field in some organized way. Now, the need to construct has been there for years and years, right? Ages. Now, it's my humble philosophy that a human being on earth first try to search for food, second for shelter. If you're full, you're happy, بطن منيح كيف تمام, you need to find a shelter. And this is where construction comes as second probably in as far as the importance to us as humankind, as we first made it to planet Earth. Now, do we still bother about that today? Well, we all know that this whole thing could end at some point in time, and we will be constructing at that point in time. We will be constructing, okay? So construction is going to stay with us because there is a continuous need for it. The only change is that we're dealing today with a level of complexity that is unprecedented. Not in every situation, not in every project. Not in every project we construct on campus we have the same complexities. But we have grown up seeing construction taking different turns, and then complexities migrating to us from other technologies and from other industries, making our life even harder to to deal with, and then the expectations on the part of those who are behind the ideas for projects, okay, are growing day by day. So these complexities are bound to implicate us in one way or another. And here I'm referring to, and I give this example in my undergraduate class, that if I am to engage you in doing something for me or on my behalf, I could, if it is something very minor, with a shake of hand, we will agree to what needs to be done. But when we talk about the level of complexities that I have in mind, which I'm trying to depict to the best of my abilities now, we need to organize that through a contract, okay? And then my other side of this humble philosophy is that if we have to manage things right, we have to put things correctly on paper. We have to agree as to what you're obliged to do versus what I'm obliged to do, what your rights are versus what my rights are, what you're responsible for versus what I'm responsible for, and so on and so forth. Now, the many participants that we have in the construction industry could help us conceive many, many different ways of grouping people for the purpose of delivering projects. I'm just taking a very humble, simple diagram to just show you that at the end of the day, we're concerned when it comes to actual execution. We're concerned with the organization of the relationship between what we refer to as the employer, the client, the owner of the facility, probably, because not every owner is the end user of the facility, but the mastermind behind the facility, the one who is after this development, and the people who are to execute the job. So this contract is implicated by the complexities that I referred to earlier. And on the side of all things, you have people acting on behalf of the employer to make sure that this relationship is organized properly, is administered properly, and then, believe it or not, this engagement through this instrument, okay, makes this instrument more like the Constitution, more like the Bible, that governs how these people are going to interact over the lifespan of this engagement, which can be for 2, 3, 4 years. It all depends on the scale of the exercise that we are in. So you want to execute the job, you're going to have to bring your kitchen to my site. And core to the kitchen of that contractor is the staffing. And I meant to bring you this to show you this is the backbone of the diagram that the contractor would need to staff to be able to execute. This is only backbone. If you want to really see the actual level of staffing on a multi-billion-dollar job, I could give you one such example: 14.7 billion Saudi riyal, King Abdullah Financial District project by Saudi bin Laden. It's a design-build job. The spreadsheet runs pages and pages and pages to my right, and then again pages and pages down the way. You're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of engineers that are part of this organization chart, okay, forming both the core operation of the contractor in the upper part, and then the site staff supplied or furnished by the contractor to the construction site to be able to run the kitchen on site. Now, on the side of this, we're talking about very sophisticated clients. AUB is one such sophisticated client, believe it or not. Looking at our local community, we're probably top 2, 3, 5 most sophisticated client. Although we don't have a very high turnover in terms of the total number of millions of dollars we spend on a yearly basis, all in all, we've spent some 200 million probably by now on projects, all in all, okay? Which is the size of ABC Mall, by the way. Okay? It's the size of ABC Mall. So the investment we've made over like 15 years or so is the size of ABC Mall. Yet, the complexity in every undertaking, okay, makes us cognizant of the need to staff well for ourselves and to engage the right people on board to help us administer the relationship with the contractor. Okay? Almost done. Yeah. So, halfway done. Okay. Now, when you have these two groups on both sides of the equation, okay, we're talking about people. I mean, we have two groups right here. We could disagree on those trivial questions that, and we were just questioning each other's selection. Huh? Now, we are bound to get into conflicts. We are bound to see these conflicts surfacing into claims, and then claims, if not resolved in due time, they will end up being the subjects of disputes, and disputes take a lot more time to handle. And you will have people outside the organization of the client and the contractor becoming engaged in helping you resolve this. So far, I'm trying to show you the system from a human element perspective. Now, this human element is to be put at play when we are to administer things right. So when we talk about contract administration, one of the areas that Mr. Munzer referred to as being related to project management, engineering management, you name it, we don't differentiate much. It's all under the umbrella of effective project management methods and mechanisms and processes. So for you to be able to manage claims properly and then avoid having them escalate into disputes, you need to put this whole hierarchy to play and to your advantage. And the way we see it, what is it that we want them to do? A claim, for it to be alive, somebody has to initiate that claim. Somebody has to make the other aware of the fact that something has happened, and then you notify that person or that entity, that party, that you intend to ask for more money, you intend to ask for more time. Otherwise, you'll have issues trying to finish the job as per the original contractual milestones or budget. So this is only one point in a process that requires many of the people you saw in the hierarchy to work in a very dynamic way, trying to actually channel this notice through to the attention of the engineer. So this hierarchy that you see cannot just simply decide on its own how is it that we function when something happens. They are guided by what the contract says. They are guided by the policies and guidelines that are set forth by the contracting organization. And this interplay takes place in accordance with a very organized thinking, okay, in a systematic way, leading to the issuance of this one little notice. That is another interplay requiring the second notice. As you notice here, this process could involve multiple stages. Okay? Now, once you inform the other party that you have an issue, you will try to come up and say, no, I don't agree with you. By just simply saying, I don't agree with you, you may have to go through a huge number of rules, a big set of rules, to just simply to say, my interpretation of the conditions of contract or of the contract documents, okay, are not in line with your interpretation of the same set of documents. And then that takes you through again, a systemized approach to be able to derive to an interpretation that at some point in time, somebody has to judge to be reasonable, okay? Now, I'm trying to conclude with these 3-4 slides, and they're quick. I'm not planning to explain each one for you. But what you've seen so far, they belong to one simple station on this process. Okay, so this notice that I've been referring to is this little humble thing you see right here. The thing that you have to issue within 28 days. That is the gateway for a much longer process of claim management and dispute resolution. Okay, and that process could actually survive the length of the project itself, the length of the construction duration itself. Years and years after the facility is done, you will see these parties still arbitrating or still going through mediation or whatever, or trying to resolve their differences and their disputes. Now, you will see the dossier of that claim growing enormously with time as the people to whom you are addressing yourself will get to change. You start talking first to the engineer, and then you start talking to the owner. I'm not sure if I see this. And then the engineer, then the educator, then the mediator or the owner, and then the arbitrator. Okay, so, and as you go from one station to another, you change your gown. You repackage, you recast, you put things in a better way. Okay? Yeah, done. The same team that you saw earlier will continue to again be at some level of dynamism in trying to satisfy the requirements of how this dossier is going to grow along the way, and this is one representation of how that works. Tell me, am I selling you the idea that in a construction project, once you shake hands with someone, you're stuck with them for the rest of your life? Not true. Not true. You can actually just simply undo. يعني أنا معتصم, we shake hands, we undo. Simple undo is when we let go. Well, sorry, my friend, you can't let go. You can't let go easily. Neither you nor I could just simply do that easily. And that's another administrative process. Just look at it. If he is to terminate my engagement on this contract, he would need to satisfy one of these. Okay, this is the FEASAC, the latest FEASAC. If I have to be excusing myself from this, I would need to satisfy all of this. And this is, again, an ordered administrative process where we need to satisfy all prerequisites. Same is true with anybody who's taking an advanced course not having fulfilled 421. 421. Okay, Jad. Huh? Okay, we're done.
Termination by contract.
Bye, thank you very much. Termination of my talk.
So, thank you very much, Mohammed, for this inspiring talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is the distinguished young alumni from the Industrial Engineering and Management Department, Mr. Hussam Hayek. He's the manager of Quality Assurance Department at Murex, and he graduated from AUB with a bachelor's degree of Computer and Communications Engineering in 2006. And after that, he began working with Murex as a test analyst, and at the same time, he was completing his graduate studies at AUB in the Master of Engineering Management. And April 2016, he got promoted, and Murex offered him the leadership of Quality Assurance Department, and he is leading over 100 quality assurance engineering teams, ensuring a corporate quality from development phase until client delivery. Mr. Hussam Hayek.
Thanks. So my speech today, it's about software and financial engineering, how they can mix together for a good career for someone who is seeking a career between both software engineering and financial engineering. In my presentation, I will go through 3 items mainly. I'm going to start by a brief introduction of who we are, Murex, as an employer. So I'm just going to give you a context where we work. Then I'm going to answer the question about how software and financial engineering, they can coexist together. And at the end, a special message to AUB about the studies we did at AUB and the undergraduate program and the graduate program and how they relate to our work day to day. To start with, today, who is Murex? Murex is today considered as #1 provider of solutions in the capital market for banks seeking front office to back office to risk management in their day-to-day activities. And we're very well known to our approach of work, which is close collaboration with our clients to help them achieve their targets in the evolving capital market that is moving day to day. Some figures and facts just to give you an idea who we are. Today, Murex has been in the market for around 30 years. We're around having 45,000 plus users using our product in 65 different countries. We're almost present in 17 cities in the world, and we're going to see some sample cities in the next slides. We have almost 2,000 employees working with us from 60 different nationalities, and some figures about revenues and R&D, research and development in the few last years, just to give you an idea about the investment we put in our company. To move forward, where are we present today? The red items you can see on the graph are where we have clients. So as you can see, our clients are worldwide. It's not in a single city. We have clients all over the world. And where you can see the letter M, it's where we have offices. So as you can see, we have offices in the different cities of the world. And our main reason to have these offices is to say to our clients, we're next to you, we're near you. It's not like we are far away from you. And we have offices in different cities. Just also a quick item about our customer base. What kind of clients we try to serve? What do we offer them? In fact, we offer them a software that can deal with their needs for financial engineering stuff, for financial stuff they deal to do on a day-to-day basis. So here, We have clients that are banks, we have buy side, we have corporations utility, and we have other stuff that we are also able to serve. I'm not gonna go into the details, and it's not the aim of today's session, but just to give you an idea, when we speak about banks, we're speaking about market makers, global banks, we're speaking about multi-regional banks, not local ones, and we're also speaking about regional ones. So we're speaking about banks like Bank of China, #1 in China, DBS #1 in Singapore, we're speaking about UBS in London, we're speaking